Hey, hi, hello, what's up? It's Michelle from the 12th House Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. And if this is your first time here, hi, welcome. On the 12th House Podcast, we pull the curtain back and shine a light on the areas of life that are mysterious and elusive and opaque. And we try to approach them with honesty and transparency and, some body humor, some unpopular opinions to make them a little less mysterious, to demystify them, and to figure out how they work in our world. We've got a hard emphasis, I would say, on the mystical and the magical. And we also talk a lot about intuitive business because all these elements are connected in our book at Holisticism. So welcome. So happy that you're here. And today I want to pull back the curtain on intuitive business, as I'm wont to do, and talk a little bit about paid content. This episode I got two people in mind who I'm thinking of. This episode is for anyone out there who wants to make paid content. So intuitive business owners, intuitive entrepreneurs, maybe people who are already making free content and are like, yo, I want to get paid for this shit. And it's also for those of us who are consumers of content and consumers of paid content. And you might be like, Michelle, I don't consume paid content. I'm not on OnlyFans. I don't participate in people's Patreons. I'm a free content all the way, babe, type of person. And to which I would say, not true, my guy. Whether you realize it or not, you are participating in paid content because that's how content gets made. There's not just free content that exists out there. It has to get bankrolled from something. And so technically everything is paid content. So let's talk a little bit about these two elements. The first is indirect paid content. Basically, we can break down paid content into two umbrella terms: indirect paid content and direct paid content. Indirect paid content is when we are making a piece of content, we have a piece of content, and we don't get paid transactionally for that piece of content. We're getting paid elsewhere for it. So we don't see a direct connection to the piece of content that we've made in revenue that comes into our bank account. Kind of difficult to explain in theory, but I'll explain it to you in practice in just a second. And then we've got direct paid content, and that is where you are exchanging actual content for someone swiping their credit card, and there's a direct correlation between that transaction and the content delivery. Okay, so let's talk about indirect paid content, because if you were like, I don't participate in paid content, this is the type of paid content that you do participate in. And this is honestly where we see most content, which is indirect paid content. There are two types of indirect paid content: sponsored content and affiliate content. And you might be like, SponCon, #ad. I know where I've seen that. Yeah, my guy, it's on Instagram. It is on social media. That is where you're going to see most of your indirect paid content, because indirect paid content is free content. So it's content that's out there in the world getting made. It's not behind a paywall. You don't have to swipe your credit card to enjoy sponsored content or indirect paid content. In fact, for the people who are making that indirect paid content, they want as many people as possible to see it because they are monetizing your attention. And this is another reason why I feel like understanding these two topics can be really useful if you're a consumer, because you have so much value just in your attention alone. And if we think about this on a day-to-day basis of where am I putting my attention, and if we thought about how literally financially valuable our attention was, I think that we would move differently through the world. I certainly would if I was more aware of this, because if you're hate following someone, if you're just needlessly paying attention to people that you don't really care about or who maybe kind of vex you or whatever, you're actually contributing to their bottom line by giving them more attention. And we can see this, energetically, I would say yes. Attention is attention, whether it's good attention or bad attention. It's not kind of like press. But from an actual practical perspective, influencers and people, content creators, I will say, content creators who are participating in indirect paid content, sponsored content, or affiliate content are monetizing your attention. They're not gating their content. They're like, no, please pay attention to me. The more you pay attention to me, the more I get paid. So we see sponsored content come up, obviously, on the feed, right? And I know that I'm going to say something that's maybe a little bit unpopular, but I know that it's not cool to like influencers. It's really hot to like be annoyed by influencers. But first, I just want to say that we mostly use the term influencer and often use it pejoratively to describe women who are content creators. And that feels extraordinarily unfair and borderline misogynistic, not even borderline. Because when men make content and are influential and monetize it via sponsored content or affiliate content, they're called content creators. And when women do it, they're influencers. Do you see how it's like minimizing of how actually brilliant and creative these influencers are? These women are. Like, oh my God. And I see influencers on the internet, these like women who put together these incredible outfits and like have designed their homes and put together photo shoots and like videos and all these blog content and send out emails. And I'm like, that's a whole production house. Like that would cost like 30 grand if you hired a team to do it. And they're doing it in one day by themselves. It's insane. So anyways, that's my side note on the language of influencers. I'm going to use the term influencer and content creator as interchangeably as possible. I don't think it's derogatory to say influencer, but we often have this tone of like, ugh, influencers, vapid, when I just don't think that's fair or true. So anyways, rant over. Indirect paid content is typically how influencers and content creators, people who focus on making content, get paid. And they do that by monetizing the attention of their audiences. And honestly, they have every right to, because if you are paying attention to a content creator, that's because you find value in what they make. You find value in the free content that they're making because it's either entertaining to you or annoying to you, which means it's entertaining, or it's valuable because it's teaching you something. And they've done something right because they've gotten you to follow them. They've gotten you to listen to their podcast or to follow them on Instagram or to sign up for their email newsletter. And so that means that they've spent hours and hours and hours and a lot of time and attention and energy making really valuable content for you. And so to have sponsored content is, number one, awesome because it helps them get paid for what they do. And number two, it's great for you as a consumer because it bankrolls their ability to make more free content. And I know that like, it's not cool to like sponsored content because it's annoying to see it in your feed. But I think as long as the content creators are in integrity about the brands that sponsor them, if they genuinely like the products that they're getting sponsored by and use them enough to promote them to you, their hard-won audience, then like we shouldn't be pissed off about seeing that stuff. In fact, we should be like, yes, amazing. That means that they probably just got paid $5 grand, which means they're going to make like way more awesome stuff because they want to continue to grow their business. They're not just like in this to, I don't know, get a fat check and then peace out. Again, their income relies on your attention and their ability to capitalize on your attention. Which, I mean, like can feel a little gross when you say it like that, but also we're responsible for paying attention to them and deciding who we want to invest our minds into, our brains and our time into. So just maybe if you're someone who has a following or who's building a following, who's thinking about all this free content that you're making and it's like, ugh, I'm making so much content, but I'm not getting paid for it. Great opportunity to think about getting sponsored or having some affiliates. And if you are not someone who's making content, then another great opportunity to really think about who you're investing your energy and attention into and whether you really want to be investing your energy and attention into them, if that's useful and if it's aligned with you and your values. I dropped the ball because I didn't explain exactly what the difference between affiliate and sponsored content. Sponsored content is when a brand comes in and says, we'll sponsor this post, we'll sponsor this blog, we'll sponsor this email blast. So we'll pay you a set rate for a piece of content. So there's like a clear deliverable, which is great. Normally there's like a brief and they tell you what to make and like what the parameters are. And it's like a one and done sort of contract. An affiliate model is a little different. An affiliate is when the content creator gets a percentage or a kickback for every purchase that's made of a product that they're promoting. So for example, I'm an affiliate of Flowdesk. Flowdesk is our email service provider that I'm obsessed with. And for every person that signs up for Flowdesk, I have a code. It's Holisticism, shameless plug. And you get 50% off a lifetime subscription to Flowdesk, which is an amazing deal. And I get a kickback. So I get some money in my bank account for every person that converts and ends up using Flowdesk. So it's mutually beneficial to all people all around, right? You get a discount, I get a little bit of money, and Flowdesk gets to grow their community, which is really cool. And the cool thing about affiliate content is that, or using affiliates, is that you have a lot more freedom in what you can create. And it can be as detailed and as in-depth as you want, or it can be super laid back and relaxed. So I made this free course called Email List Magic, where I teach people how to basically build their email list from scratch, which is so important if you're running an intuitive business. And I mean, like, especially in the year of 2020 and beyond, where we had to move everything online. If you don't own your audience, you're totally screwed, because you're at the beck and call of Mr. Mark Zuckerberg or the minions at Google. And you don't want to be in that place, because you don't want them to basically interrupt your communication or your connection to your audience. You want to be able to reach out to your audience without an algorithm like cock blocking you, for lack of a better word. So I made this 4-day course called Email List Magic. You can get it at holisticism.com/email-magic. And inside of it, I talk a little bit about Flowdesk, because that's my email service provider, and I teach you how to use Flowdesk. And I mention it maybe once or twice that I've got this discount code for Flowdesk. But effectively, that piece of content has probably converted, I don't know, hundreds of people at this point to using Flowdesk, because thousands of people have joined this free course. And when I made that course, I knew I was making free content, because anyone can sign up for it. And I set the intention of, well, I'll make this really, really valuable, really incredible, make it feel like something that my clients or my consumers would say, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't pay for this. This is so valuable. Can you imagine what her paid content is like? It must be like bananas amazing. And I'll also talk about Flowdesk and give them examples of how it can be really useful and how it might be right for them. And then just give them the option, if they want to sign up. It's not a hard sell at all. In fact, I probably undersold it a little bit. And because I made that content, and because it is so valuable, and because people get to see Flowdesk in action, it's converted tons of people to using Flowdesk. So if you're a content creator, or you're making content period on Instagram, even if you don't consider yourself a content creator, think about the brands that you love, that you use every single day. I genuinely love Flowdesk. It saved my life when it came to email. And I'm already talking about it with my friends and my clients and my students and recommending them to go use it. So if you have brands like that, I have this weird obsession with this milk frother, and I think I've convinced like 30 people to buy this milk frother. And honestly, I should try to become an affiliate of this milk frother, because I'm so obsessed with it. If there's products that you're just like, this genuinely adds value to my life and I want more people to understand it and use it and love it, that's a great opportunity for you to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm like your biggest fan, and I'm telling all my friends about this and definitely influencing them, even making content every day talking about how incredible I think your product is. Do you have an affiliate code that I can use? They will most likely say yes and be so excited about that, because we know as marketers and as business owners that most people got their product recommendations from their friends. It's very rare that we get recommendations and actually buy direct from ads. Usually we see an ad, and then we see a friend who has it, and then we see another piece of content that's maybe like a piece of paid content, and then we finally make the decision to go buy something. So one of the best things that you can have on your team, if you're at a company and you're trying to spread your message or reach out to more community members to grow your followers or to grow the number of people that are buying your product, is to get sort of like your street team going. The people who love what you do, who are your homegrown heroes, who are going to shout your name from the rooftops, and make them affiliates so that they really promote your product, because they already are and they get paid for it. And that's just going to promote goodwill for everyone. So that's what indirect paid content looks like and kind of how it pops up in our world. And it's important for everyone to think about the attention that you've got, right? When people listen to you and what they want more of. If you're a content creator, think about what your consumers are asking for, what your community is asking for. What questions do you get asked constantly? Like, where did you buy, I don't know, what's your favorite candle? Or where did you buy that laptop stand? Or what's your favorite tarot card deck? And that might be an opportunity for you to become an affiliate, because you're already making content, probably promoting that product, and you're making it for free. And so you might as well get paid to make more valuable content like that. And that's what indirect paid content is. It helps us make even more free and accessible content for our community, which is really cool. Hi, are you a really, really cool person who loves and also sometimes loves to hate the wellness space, who wants to stay up to date with the latest trends and products and emerging companies in this industry, but who also deeply wrestles with the responsibility of being a conscious consumer whilst having a soft spot for gradients and well-designed packaging on everything from wellness supplements to clean beauty brands? Same, my friend, very, very much the same. We created The Cusp just for you and for us. The Cusp is our secret newsletter and members community where we look at products, ideas, services, modalities, and trends in the wellness zeitgeist, and we examine them through a consumption critical and irreverent lens. It's like a group text with your favorite wellness loving and loathing BFFs where you can talk about everything from the best organic unbleached tampon company to whether that hypey, overpriced wellness supplement is actually worth your hard-earned cash money. It's just a really fun place. So when you join The Cusp, you'll get access to our secret members community and you'll get 2 emails a month. The first email will be an honest product review with industry experts and independent research. We'll take a deep dive on a product or a trend and see if it lives up to the hype. We'll talk to experts and get their opinions on it and also get clinical research on whether the product works or not. And when we like it and when it does work, we'll hook you up with a discount code. And you can guarantee that these reviews will always be unbiased and unfiltered because we don't know how to do anything that's not unfiltered here. Let's just be totally honest. None of this is sponsored content and none of it is affiliate content. So you can trust that we're telling you what we actually think about the product. And not only will we deliver a discount code and research from independent experts and our own thoughts and ideas, but we'll also tell you the dupes out there. So instead of having to buy that super expensive, super used stress formula from Moon Juice, you'll learn about 2 options that you can get that pretty much do the same thing that are half the price. And that, my friends, is what makes me really happy. In the second email of the month, we'll do an industry deep dive and trend market research report on the latest industry booms, niches on the rise, and what to look out for to keep in step with what's going on inside the wellness space. If you work in wellness or you're wanting to work in wellness, you're going to want to get in on these emails. Not only will you be the smartest person in your group chat talking about what's trending in wellness and well-being, but you'll also learn about potential new opportunities that you can pounce on yourself. So if you're thinking of starting an intuitive business or you already work in the wellness space and you want to get ahead, I very, very much recommend joining The Cusp. It's only $5.99, which is like less than the cost of 2 kombuchas. And you get the first 2 weeks for free, so you can try it out yourself. And oh my God, I totally buried the lead. But in addition to our products of the week and our white papers, our research reports, and the freebies that you're going to get every single month, we also have an area called Windows of Opportunity where we put up amazing job openings that are vetted by our team for companies that are in the wellness industry that are vetted by us and that we know are in integrity and in alignment with the values of holisticism. So if you're looking for a job in this space and you want to make sure that you work with someone who is low-key awesome, then Windows of Opportunity is for you. And you get all of this inside The Cusp. It's so cool. It's so fun. And honestly, it's something that we've been working on for a really long time. And we finally have the resources to be able to make it exactly how we wanted it. I cannot wait for you to join and to just spill tea with you inside of The Cusp. So go ahead and sign up at holisticism.com/the-cusp and you can get in for 2 weeks for free. If you don't like it, no big deal. You can cancel before your 2 weeks are up, but I think you're going to like it. Here's what some of our Cusp members are saying about The Cusp. Rebecca says, I've always been seduced by this brand on a recent product review, but never purchased. I appreciate the reminder that they aren't the only business in the game providing these ingredients, and these things aren't one size fit all. Thank you. This review might have finally helped me break the spell. Tatiana says, I've been waiting for this right here. I just started this product after coming off of another product, and I wish I'd got this before I bought it, but I'm still excited to learn more about it. And now that I have the dupe, I'm so excited to see that I don't have to pay full price for it. Alyssa says, I appreciate you sharing more about these herbs because they are incredibly powerful and people need this type of knowledge to make safe, informed choices before purchasing. Bravo. Ray says, I am so jazzed about this new offering. This is exactly the no BS review that I've been needing. And Ashley says, this is amazing and so worth the extra $5 a month. As someone who wants to be healthy from the inside out and who's really into labels, this was so thorough. And I loved hearing an expert point of view with that expert's credentials. Oh my God, I am so thrilled and I will be buying the dupes. And that's just some of the people inside the cusp. There are so many amazing, fun, awesome humans, and I just can't wait for this party to get started. So go on over to holisticism.com/the cusp and join yourself. It's the first 2 weeks for free. You got nothing to lose. And trust me, you're just going to have fun. We're really fun. And if you're really cool, you're going to fit right in. All right. That's it. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so we have indirect paid content down. We get it. Let's talk about direct paid content, which is personally my favorite type of content to get paid for. Paid content looks like a couple things, a lot of things, and you're probably pretty familiar with it. It's effectively when we exchange our credit card or payment information to get access to a piece of content. So that could look like a digital course or an in-person course. It could look like a downloadable asset, something like a PDF or an ebook or a guide. I mean, does anyone remember the days and rage and insanity of the BBG guides, the bikini body guides? Oof, if I never have to hear about bikini body ever again, I would be happy. So that's an example of paid content. A workshop where people are paying to come and watch you teach class and to learn something from you, or just a class. Those are examples of direct paid content. Memberships. So if you've ever joined a membership community, maybe the North Node, or you've joined someone's Patreon, or you've joined someone's OnlyFans, those are all examples of memberships and direct paid content. And then finally, Content Plus. Content Plus is simply the content that is an upgraded version that lives behind a paywall. So a good example would be like the New York Times. They've got a couple articles that you can read without subscribing and without becoming a member. But then after a certain limit, you have to become a paying member of the New York Times, a subscriber, in order to get access to the content. So that's Content Plus. It's a paywall that prevents people from moving forward or gives them a limited access to the content that you're making. And when they pay, they unlock all the content, or they unlock special secret content. So I love direct paid content because for lots of reasons. First, because I think it's an awesome business model, and I think it's really cool to not be like selling stuff for other people. No shade to like getting sponsorships or being an affiliate, but I just think it's really lovely to be able to generate revenue from something that you have made yourself, as opposed to being reliant on other businesses or companies to want to sponsor you, or the affiliate programs of other companies. For example, Amazon has a huge affiliate program. And a couple months ago, in the middle of the pandemic, they dropped their affiliate commissions to like significantly, like more than in half. And so many bloggers and content creators who really relied on Amazon's affiliate links to make up the bulk of their paycheck were absolutely screwed. So whenever you're dependent on other people, right? We all are, but the more cooks there are in the kitchen, I guess, for lack of a better term, the more opportunity there is for things to go wrong and for things to be out of your control. And like, listen, I'm a control freak and I know that it's not cute, but it's my truth. And whenever possible, I want to be in as much control and have as much personal sovereignty as I can. That's why I love owning my own email list, because my life and my business isn't contingent upon Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram working and the algorithm favoring me. And that's why I love creating my own content and getting paid for it, because there's no middleman. There's no person that I have to sort of like appease or convince that I'm valuable in order to invest in me. That is my pet peeve. So if it works for you, awesome. I'm so jealous. I wish that that was my personality because I would probably be much easier to get along with. But unfortunately, I'm just like this. So trust me, I've tried to change, but this is who I am. I like to do my own thing and I don't like when other people tell me what to do. And so direct paid content and making direct paid content really works for me because I get to make what I want and I get to make it for my audience. And I don't have to have a huge community of people. I just need to have and talk to the right people and know that if I get in front of them and I deliver something that's really valuable and really actually helpful to them, that they'll probably end up becoming a client of mine or becoming a customer. And if I'm not getting them as a customer, if they don't end up buying, then that tells me that I have some work to do. And I like that feedback loop. It works for me. So I love teaching people the difference between indirect paid content and direct paid content because it starts to open up different opportunities in your brain where you see how you can use these two types of content to maybe progress your growth and to, at the end of the day, which is most important, continue to offer and provide value for your community. I see and I can see so many opportunities for intuitive business owners to build something like a course and then also have a really robust affiliate program with a company that they love to support their revenue and to support their income. I see tons of opportunities for people to create membership communities where they're connecting communities together and giving them even more value and facilitating that connection that we need, especially in the online space, and holding a safe container for others and, getting paid to do so because they're doing a great service. They're offering an incredible value to their community members. And I see so many options for people to take the content that they're already making for free, and turn it into something that's content plus, which means that it's an upgraded version or an even more delicious, detailed, in-depth version, even more valuable version that either lives behind a small paywall or where people can opt in and pay a little bit more every month to get even greater access. And I think that when we start to see these opportunities and we also see the intersection of where we can help our community, where we can help the people, our ideal client that we're here to help, all of a sudden, these moving parts start to solidify and they start to me, they become really exciting as opposed to overwhelming and daunting. And, I'm just going to shoot from the hip here, but since the pandemic and since we've all moved online, the proliferation of online courses has been freaking insane. Everyone's got a course. And I don't think that's bad, but I think that a lot of people are reaching to make coursework and get a lot of people to buy a course from them because potential revenue streams have dried up for them. And they're only thinking in this sort of one lane of, well, if I'm going to make paid content, it has to be a course. And the truth is there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 other opportunities, at least 6 other buckets that you could be thinking about that also relate to making content, right? Making something that you love, that you're an expert in, that lights you up, that gets you excited, that you're already doing and getting you paid for it. And if you've been feeling lost in this digital world of where does my voice stand out? Where does it ring true? How can I not be like everyone else? And how can I also provide value to people? I would just really urge you to walk through this list for yourself because, making a course isn't the only answer. In fact, it's not the answer for a lot of people. There are so many other options out there. And I would love to see more people take advantage of creating downloadable assets that are super scalable and really affordable. I'd love to see more people creating regular workshops that are live, that get people together in a room. That's so magical. Or in a Zoom room. Again, holding that container, holding that space, teaching people live, that is such a skill. I would love to see more people making memberships and actually stacking memberships together so like-minded creators can connect with each other and make content that builds off each other. How cool would that be to be part of this incredible bundle of memberships that all provide something special and unique to your well-being or to your business or whatever it might be, your mindset. And I would love to see more people making content plus, making upgraded content, taking their blog, taking that free content that they're already making that's incredible, and giving people the option who are their super fans to say, hey, do you want more of this? I would love to make more for you. If you opt in, if you pay me, then I can. Then that provides the space for me to make even more delicious, wonderful content for you to help you, because that's all that I'm here to do. I get so excited about it. Like, I'm smiling ear to ear right now, but I just think that there's such an opportunity here. And if you're like burned out by the course world and seeing everyone with a course, I hear you. I feel you. I'm going to say it for myself, and you can decide whatever you want, but I'm going to say to myself, like, I don't want to roll my eyes when people put out courses. I think it's amazing when people make courses, and I want to support them. And I also think that there are so many other ways that we can be monetizing our content that feel authentic and genuine and true, and that don't just feel like a money grab, which is, I think, sometimes what a course can feel like to people. And your audience can sense that when you're just making something to get paid, or because you're scared, because you're scared that you're not going to get paid. People feel that. And my best advice for anyone who wants to get into the content game and wants to get paid for the content that they make is to find what moves you, what drives you, what gets you absolutely lit up and excited, and do that. And that might not be a course. That might not be a membership. That might not be a live workshop. That might mean that you make, tons of PDFs and ebooks, and you figure out how that works in your business. And that just like gets you so excited because you're meant to be a writer. Or maybe it means that you teach tons of workshops and classes because you have that teacher archetype, and that is like where you shine. And I say go with it and forge your own path is what it all comes down to. Decide what's true for you, and take everything that you learn on the internet and definitely like give it its due, like definitely weigh it. But I just want to give you permission to like throw away the things that aren't working and that don't serve you and that don't align with you, most importantly, that everyone's telling you that you need to do, and to do what feels good to you and to do it in your own way, because there's always a more creative way to do things. Yes, people will give you advice and information based on what's worked for them. That's what I do, right? I give you information based on what I've seen and based on what's worked for me. But at the end of the day, you have to decide what's right for you. And you have to decide your own path. And guess what? You have your brilliant intuition and your brilliant business genius brain to help you make that choice. And also, you have this playground of this universe and this world to go experiment and try things and see what happens. And the worst thing that happens is that you fail. And that's it. That's the worst thing. And the best thing that happens is that you exceed your wildest expectations. So that's what I've got for you today. And if you're interested in being a content creator and getting paid for the content that you make, I have a nice little Notion template for you. So you can go check it out in the show notes, holisticism.com/content. And when you download that, it's basically a dashboard for everything that you need in order to make profitable content and get yourself set up. So we've got some content planning tools. We've got some tools that we love and use at Holisticism, our recommendations for things like hosting your blog posts and SEO and hosting on Instagram and how to set up your podcast if that's something that you're interested in doing, and lots of other goodies to help get you started on creating paid content or indirect paid content, whichever you choose. And that's it. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I think I went a little bit long, but I appreciate you listening and being here. And I just believe in you so much if you're listening to this. And I think that everyone's voice deserves to be heard. If my dumb voice could have a podcast, you certainly deserve to be heard. And I guarantee you there is somebody, in fact, many somebodies out there who desperately need the information that you have. They desperately need to hear the experience that you've had. They desperately need to hear it from you, from your unique perspective, with your tone, with your voice, with your beliefs, with your genius. So don't hold that back from us. We are excited and waiting to hear from you. And with that, I'm going to go. Have a great rest of your Friday, and I will see you on the internet.